You said your mother is also your sister. Please, can you explain to me what you mean by that?
My mother was raped by her father, and she got pregnant and gave birth to me.
Hello guys, my name is Chisom Faith Wobodo, aka Shuga Plum, and this is Confess with Shuga. This is a platform that I opened so that I can give people the platform to come and tell us their life experiences or what they are going through. You can come here seeking for help. So if you ever have a story or you're someone out there, you're going through something and you want to come and share it with us, please, you can DM me on Instagram. It will be showing on your screen. DM me there. Please do not text me on Facebook, TikTok, and other platforms. But please send me a message on my Instagram DM at sugar_plum. So I have this lady here. When I heard her story, I said, okay, you can come and share your story with us. And in this program, you will be fully maxed. So if you are worried about your identity and you don't want people to know who you are after sharing your story, do not worry about that, because nobody is going to know who you are, because you'll be fully maxed. And then your name will not be used. There will be no use of name. There will be no use of AKA. The only person that you know here is me, because I am your host. So any other person coming here to share their story, there will be no use of name and they will be fully maxed. So let's give room for our guest here to tell us her life experience. So, my dear, welcome to Confess with Shuga.
Thank you.
You said your mother is also your sister. Please, can you explain to me what you mean by that?
My mother was raped by her father, and she got pregnant and gave birth to me.
Wow, that is quite a lot. But how did you find out about this?
Okay. Ever since my life, living with my mother and my father, who's supposed to be my grandfather, because we're all staying in the same house. You know, my mother has been a drunkard all her life, and then she doesn't have anything reasonable doing. There's no way she can be able to rent a house of her own. So that is the reason why we have to be in the family house. And my father, at the other hand, always abused my mother. In short, he get as it dey be sometimes. I go feel like make I even deal with that man, like make I buy him, because the way they harass my mama every time they touch me.
Now waiting, they tell him.
Waiting, they talk.
Okay.
In the abuse him, in the tell him say he's disappointed in her because every other of her siblings are doing fine. And me, I was like, how do you expect her to be doing fine? Because after I have found out the truth, I was like, why will he be abusing her even when he knows that he's the reason why she was useless? Because her life was actually useless. There's nothing reasonable that I can say that my mother did all her life. So then every time he'll be abusing her, every time they'll be quarreling. They'll be quarreling so that the whole neighbors will be hearing their voice. And me, I can't take it. It used to disturb my mental health. So anytime they started their quarrel, I just have to go. So one day, as I was coming back, I overheard them as usual. I was hearing their voice from outside. But because I was already tired, when I get to the doorstep, I have to just sit down. Maybe when they are done, I can go inside. It was that period that, as I was listening, because their voice was already high, as I was there, I overheard them. I overheard my father telling my mother as usual that he's so disappointed in her, that every of her siblings are doing well, but she chose to useless her life, and this and that, other kind of abusive words. Then my mother got angry because, she have hot temper. The same thing with the father. They have hot temper. So the mother was now getting back to her. I was like, why would he be saying that kind of thing to her? After all, he's the reason why she's the way she is. So, because had it been that he didn't help and didn't help her, she wouldn't have been in that condition. and it was the result of her that made her get birth to the child, and being that she has given birth out of wedlock, the way people are seeing her as irresponsible, and the way people rejected her, and the way she even rejected herself because she was feeling so condemned, and that was the reason why her life resorted to that. So why will he be blaming her? Why will he be putting that kind of thing? So as I overheard it, and me that I'm the only child, because I know that my mom did not have any other child apart from me, definitely that means I'm the one that they're talking about. So I was pained. So really, that it was my father that was my mother. That means he's supposed to be my grandfather, but now I found out that he's actually my father. I don't know if you understand what that means. So that's it. I was so bittered, but there's nothing I can do about it. And even when my father, later on, I went to confront him, because at the end of the whole quarrel, last, they all go back to their normal joint where they drink and smoke and useless their life. So by the time he came back later the day, I confronted him, and I was expecting to see that remorse of someone that did, because it's an atrocity. And then instead of him to be remorsed, he was still even trying to get back at me. He was angry and he was still abusing me on top. I was so angry. I feel like...
Okay, so when you came back and you overheard them arguing, and obviously arguing about the fact that the father hit her and she hurt you, how did you feel? And did you confront them, like finding out the truth? Because maybe, before you found out the truth, what did your mother tell you about your father? Did he tell you maybe your father was somewhere? Because you obviously didn't know who your father was, and that's why that.
Actually, my mom told me that my father got her pregnant and left her and abandoned her.
Oh, okay.
So she made me believe that the man is not in the picture.
Okay.
And anytime I try to ask her about it, because of the reaction she always gives me, I don't always go deep.
Okay.
So we always leave it there.
Yeah. So when you came back and you heard them arguing about you, that you now found out that your grandfather is actually your father, did you confront them? How did that go?
I first confronted my father because I was disappointed to hear what I heard. But instead of him to feel remorse, he was rather transferring that the same aggression he is always using on my mom on me. So then I have no other option to go and face my mother. So when I went to my mom, I confronted her. Then she gave me details of the whole story. And then she told me that it all started when she was 13 years. Because their mother, that is her mother, is always a busy woman. She doesn't have time for them. And then the father, being a businessman, time to time, he comes back home. So one day she told me that the father happened to come back as usual, and then met her at home. Then walked into the room and was like molesting her. Then even when she tried to stop him, he threatened her that if he tried to do anything otherwise, he's going to tell the mother otherwise story, make it look as though she is the bad one. So being a child, she have to, comply.
Obey him, yeah.
So it started then. Before you know it, every time, even in the night, every time he'll be coming and molesting her, to the extent that when she now found out that she's pregnant, because she said at a point she started losing her mind. She started losing her conscience, to the extent that she began to see herself adapting to the situation. So it got to a point that she got pregnant. She didn't even know that she was pregnant until 2 months plus. Then when she told her father, her supposed father, the man suggested that they have to go and abort the baby, and took her to one place like that for the abortion. But they told them that she's too tender for abortion, because again the baby has also, that's 2 months, and she too is too tender for such, because she just barely 14 years then because of that she had to keep the pregnancy. And that was how I came into the picture. And ever since then, her life had never been the same, because they see it as she took pregnant from somewhere else, not knowing that their father is actually the man that is responsible. So everybody is seeing her as an irresponsible child, the bad egg, yeah, exactly, in the family. Everybody turned against her, and it affected her both mentally, emotionally. That's why her life, if you see my mother, her life was shattered. She lived in her own shadow every day. That's why every day is either she's drunk with smoke or alcohol. So that is actually what her life is all about. So when I found, that was how she told me that the whole incident happened.
After you found out what happened, you said something happened to your grandfather or your father. What is that? What happened to him?
Well, 3 months after I found out my identity, my father died of heart attack. And 6 months after, my mom died. She died of overdose. One morning, I woke up one morning to find her lying dead in the sitting room. Then when I woke up to her, I found out that her body has already seized. So that means maybe she died in the midnight also, because she was long gone with the way her body is. So after her burial and everything, I went back to her family people, then tried to explain the whole incident to them. Maybe by telling them the real story, they'll be able to welcome me back, because my life I've never felt loved like as a child should in a family. I've never feel accepted in that family. So I was like, maybe because they felt that my mother got pregnant outside and everything.
So you felt like if you tell them that it's not her fault,
maybe they will bring me close and try to console me, because my life.
And you were lonely too.
Exactly. So, well, quite unfortunate when I went to tell them, the way they treated me, they were still not even giving me that love I needed from them. So I found out that it's not even about the whole incident. So
that's so after your mom passed and then her family didn't accept you, do you have somebody, are you in a relationship, or do you have someone you love or someone you're with?
The truth is that my life affected everything about me. I've been living a lonely life. I've been living as a loner. I don't have a friend because I don't know who to trust. I don't know who to trust. I don't have any friends. No friend, no family. It was just my mom. And even my mom, it was after my father died, I was like, maybe now that my father is dead, she won't be seeing his face. Maybe she can gather her life back again. Then we can start all over. But unfortunately, she still took her life.
This is a lot, and I can't really say that I understand how you feel or what you went through, because I've never been in this kind of situation before. You mentioned something about being suicidal. Are you suicidal?
Many times I've attempted to commit suicide. When you're living your life, I didn't go to school. Remember I told you that. No job, no good job. Like I say, maybe something I can say that I'm doing.
Yeah.
That is any good income for me.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting hard from here to here. So my life is just shattered. I'm just trying to pass. And that is the reason why each time I remember my story, it traumatized me. I've tried many ways to know if I can get myself back again.
Have you tried therapy?
I've gone to me. I've visited like about 3. But at the end of everything, it still didn't work. And time to time, the story keep on surfacing. I went to the extent of burning all my father's pictures and framing the house, but it didn't help out. Because the trauma is like
the information is already stuck in your head.
Exactly.
That's quite a story. Like it, I can't imagine what you're going through. Really, I can't imagine what you're going through, and the kind of trauma. And I understand what it means to like be alone, because at some point in my life I was alone at some point in my life, but that's a story for another day. Maybe one day I will share my own story and my own experience. Okay. But what I'm going to tell you from maybe a sister or a friend is that once there is life, there is hope. And I'm going to tell you that even if your family, people are treating you like you are an outcast, you are not an outcast. And if anything should happen to you today, there are so many people that will notice that you are not here. So I want you to know that you are important, you are loved. Me, I love you, and I know that people that are going to see this video, they are going to send their love too, and you are going to be encouraged. And I'm going to tell you that my house is always open. If you want to come here, you can always come here. We can hang out, we can do, there are so many fun things you can dream, because I do not want you to live a lonely life. And the fact that your mother is no longer here does not mean that you should not experience life and still be loved and do whatever it is you want to do. Because this guy, you're already smart, you didn't go to school, but you can speak well and you are composed, even though I know there is still some little ras there, but you do not look like what you've been through or what you're going through, right? So I want you to keep your head up high, right? Even though you didn't go to school, so many people that went to school that have certificates, they're not even using it today. There are so many graduates that are out there that are mechanics, they are shoemakers. There are so many things you can learn, right? You can decide to be an actor. You don't know what the future holds for you. If you go into acting or you go into entertainment, 2 years, 3 years from now, you might be the biggest star the world has ever known. If you decide to go into crafts, fashion, if you decide to go into even chefing, you might be the biggest chef the world has ever known. So I do not want you to use, because of where you're coming from or your background, to limit yourself to what you can do. Because this sky, people say the sky is your limit, but me, I always say that the sky is your starting point. Okay. And once you are alive, you are healthy, you are breathing, my dear, whatever it is you set your mind to, you will do it. And when you start making success, I think success is the best revenge to anybody that has treated you bad. Even the family that you feel rejects you today, when you are successful, they will be the one coming, begging to be in your life. Right? So the best revenge is success. You are not a mistake, even though the circumstance, the whatever it is that is surrounding your birth, you are not a mistake. God knew that you were going to be born on the day that you were born. He knew that you would be conceived. So whatever thing that surrounds your birth, it does not define who you are. The man made his mistake. I pray God forgives him, and he forgave himself, or your mother forgave him before he passed away. But whatever it is, God will be the judge of that. But as long as you're still the one here, you have the upper hand. Okay?
I'm so happy. Your word is so calm. I'm so happy, honestly. Like, I feel resurrected. I know that coming to meet you, even the first time I spoke with you, the way you spoke to me, I felt relieved, and now I feel more. I'm so happy, honestly. And honestly, that is the reason why I want to use this opportunity to advise parents out there, especially mothers. You see, when you have a female child, pay attention to your child, because this is our generation nowadays. This is not the time that you will trust your child, your female child, with your husband because of the title father, because he's the father to the child. You can see now I'm a victim. At least you can learn from my story, and then pay more attention to your female child, because a lot of things is happening. A lot is happening. So I'm so happy. I'm very, very happy that I'm here today. You've really impacted in my life, and I feel so happy.
You're welcome.
I can't repay you for this, honestly.
Like, no, you don't need to do anything.
See the way I am smiling. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I feel this happy. I'm very, very honest with you.
No,
so I'm so glad.
It's okay. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Now, to the mothers out there, I know that there are some good wonderful fathers that would move the mountain for their daughters, and there are fathers that are ready to shoot you if you harm their daughters. I know there are good fathers out there, but as a mother to a girl child, you have to be very careful around you and the people you leave your girl child with. Exactly. Because whatever that happened then, it's a long time ago. So imagine it happened then and what is going on now. So please, if you are a mother and also a father, when your child comes home as a child, as a girl child, and then you notice that this, because most of the time it starts happening, you notice that this your child is always bubbly, the next thing she's keeping to herself, you ask her what is going on. Create a good environment so that your children will communicate with you, so that when somebody is doing them something bad, they will be able to run to you. Exactly. And complain to you. So guys, that will be all for today. I remain your humble host, Chisom Faith Wobodo, aka Sugar Plum, and I will see you guys on my next episode. And do not forget to click the link and subscribe. Share this video to at least 5 of your family members or your loved ones, and I will see you guys on my next episode. Bye.